Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Thursday, so that means Thursday Tier Talk. But tonight it could be Thursday Therapy Talk. But we'll see how it goes anyway. Joining me as
You know what
always.
it's going to be? It's going to be Thursday, two fucking barrels talk. That's what it's going to be.
I'm looking forward
That's
to this.
what it's going to
Looking
be.
forward to this. I've done my homework for this one tonight. I might have an alternative view to you, but we shall see. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
As always, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video, share the content, grow the community as much as we can. We're going to be taking you through.
I'm gonna tell you how bad this is gonna get. Are you ready? What I brought along for this?
Do you still have me Trent jersey there? There's room for you. Red TK lemonade. That
In
means only one.
cans.
Red TK lemonade. Is it being spruced up with anything a bit stronger?
No, I spruced it up last night with some Jameson and lime. I swapped it out for the ginger ale. It was lovely. It was a nice bit sweeter, you know.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know if
I
you caught
needed
I don't know if you caught the pro wrestling show. Was it the pro wrestling show the other night, or was it Monday Mashup? I'm not too sure. One of them anyway. It descended down into lads just firing questions at me, asking me my preference, my crush, all this kind of thing for about 20 minutes, and it was good fun. It was good fun. The lads had good crack on it and stuff like that.
It's been a busy week.
Has been.
You know, when I was off for a couple of days. You know, when you're off for a couple of days, you end up just like losing track of days, times, weeks, the whole shit much. I'm still brewing, let's say, simmering, bubbling.
I'll make you feel better by the end of this, don't worry.
I doubt it.
Henry's in the chat. What's the crack, Noel? Can't stay. I have a video at 8:30 and 9. Hope you're good. Absolutely smashing Henry at the moment. Make sure you check out his channel. Morris was on it last night. Really enjoyed it. Good crack between Morris and Henry there. So make sure you go check it out. Our clash with West Ham on the 20th will be shown on Sky. Absolutely. Why wouldn't it? Stephen is in. Stephen, how happy are you tonight? What's up, gents? Stephen is a Hammers fan. We were on last night. He didn't give his team much hope now last night, and they knocked it out of the park. Knocked it out of the park. I would suggest
I gave his team
result,
I gave his team a lot of a big chance last night. I backed them.
Yeah. I'd imagine the that result last night just made it a little bit easier for you, did it? Just
absolutely not. Couldn't give a fiddler's about anyone else other than us.
But
don't give a flying fuck. No, sorry.
Dazzler, what's the crack, Niall and Dazzler? Good, all good. And Jack is in. Hello, bro. I will try to get Dunko on. I doubt he'll come on, but we probably won't have time anyway with everything we have to go through. Hope you're well at Daz, Niall and Dazzler, guys. Yeah, we're all
Hey,
good.
Jack.
Daz is in. Big up. Baz is in. Big up, Baz. Evening, lads. What's the crack? Acers is in. Ric Flair. Woo. Energy drinks now available. Good Lord. And that guy they want in the $200, wouldn't he? Bit angry that Tranmere signed another caretaker manager on a perm. And I'm not that angry now after seeing our other Tranmere fans' opinions. It's always good to take it in. Joanna's in the chat as well. Hello, boys. How are you, Joanne? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is good. Keith's in. What's the crack, lads? Nice to see Man United doing well. Don't add to his pain. He's going to bring enough pain to himself tonight, I'd imagine. Acers AW just signed Ric Flair to multi-millions deal. I don't know.
What a waste of money.
I don't know how to feel.
What a waste of money. They've just signed Ric Flair. The Big Show made a reappearance, and Sting is primetime TV. Are we in WCW 1995? What the fuck is going on?
Big Show and Jericho.
How many legitimate stars have they created themselves? Just a question. Any? MJF?
Yeah, probably MJF, I suppose, is in there
and Jade.
As well. Jade.
There's nothing outside of them two.
Well, I suppose if you look, it depends on how you feel about it. But I mean, obviously, what's his name? Relentless. What's his name? The lad with Sting. What's he called?
Darby Allin.
Darby Allin. I can't remember his name. That's how created he is. But he's kind of in there. He'd be a reasonable name in there. Orange Cassidy. I know you might not like what they do and stuff like that, but they're still.
Orange Cassidy can get fucked. He's not a star. Stop now. Stop. We've seen better in OTT. Knock it over. Come on now. Easy there. Orange Cassidy. Fucking Orange Toblerone. Fuck off.
Absolutely. I'll get through some of these comments and then we'll get into it. Yeah, we got the Flair one. We got Warren will do his first watch along on Sunday. That'll be interesting. He's doing it. It's an FA Cup one, isn't it? I think I seen something on Instagram coming through earlier. I'm okay considering Mikel has chucked away another cup. Yeah, that's it. It's a strange one, all right, isn't it? Aces, what did you think?
I didn't hear from Morris today, and I tend to hear from Morris when Arsenal have been knocked out of a competition because he gets really annoyed about these things on the basis that it's another opportunity.
Yeah,
to pick up a trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about it like, and they had a great opportunity when you think of Man City and all going out and stuff like that. So they probably would have been on the basis if they had went through last night and even going into last night, they probably would have been one of the favourites.
They'd have been there with you in Newcastle.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a strange one, all right. And then with the FA Cup, because the draw isn't even done yet, you don't know what's going to happen there. Champions League, probably highly unlikely. League might go close again, but might not get over the line.
You got to be looking at that. You got to be looking at that Carabao now, thinking we can put that in the trophy cabinet. Yeah.
Well, that's
absolutely.
Listen, they're defined by trophies, aren't they? In reality, and his woo energy drink. Yeah, bonkers. We saying that it's mad. It's crazy. All right, bonkers. Yep. Edge turn heel on Sting at full gear. We'll talk about that. Let's get into the football. Have you seen that Real Madrid is interested in Necio? If we lose another transfer target to them Spanish scumbags, we will lose it. You'll probably be losing it then because I'm sure we'll do plenty. Aces reckons Jungle Boy. You were talking about made stars.
You stick him in with what's the other fella? The Tyrannosaurus Rex man, Jordan Pickford with the mask.
Luchasaurus.
Fuck off.
Could you see Wardlow going to WWE? Vince would love him. Why
yeah.
I need
he's
to he's
100% a Vince guy. 100%. Yeah, he's big. He looks really well when he's on the steroids, and he wrestles like shit. He's one of Vince's guys all over.
And considering Vince doesn't have a card in the game anymore, it's highly unlikely. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Where are we? Morris is eating all Landis hams from chili fridges. Good Lord. Saying they have changed the name of the EPL Cup today. Instead of the Papa John's, it's going to be called the Bristol Street Motors. Is that what it's called?
No, Bristol it's not. Street. Is it actually?
I wouldn't have thought so. United will bounce back at Tony Khan FC on Saturday. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Have you ever had a Papa John's?
I think I had it once. Can't even remember. It didn't stick out great anyway, so I'm not too sure. I'm sure that
I can remember. I've only ever had it once, and I can remember.
Were you impressed? No.
It was like eating fucking dog food.
Okay, there you go. That's what I'm thinking.
Horrific. There's a petrol station on your way up the M32, and it's got not an Abracadabra. It's got a Supermax and a Papa John's side by side in the concession. And the Supermax is all right, in fairness to it. The Papa John's is dirt. Like, it's absolute muck. Jesus Christ. And I love pizza, by the way.
Yeah. You're looking fresh to gig, Niall. And Dazzler, that is a nice Nike top bud. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Dazzler, how old are you? How old are you, Dazzler, having a prime?
I have a couple of bottles of these a day, man. I love these things. Not necessarily Men and Moon, just I drink 2 of these a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Supermax pizza is garbage. Yeah,
that's Papa John's.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to do a quick recap on last night, or do you want to start with the Premier League preview, or how would you like to begin?
You tell me, Niall. I'm easy.
Well, we'll retort on last night then, will we? Let's have a chat about.
Let's retort. Night. Yeah, sure. Listen, what else would we be doing?
I don't think. Like we'll run down through them. For me, West Ham. For me, I was kind of initially going in. I was kind of shocked, but then when I seen the teams, I kind of wasn't.
Shall I tell you which result here upset me the most? And it's not the one you think.
Chelsea.
I did a €10 treble last night.
Okay.
And in my treble, I had West Ham. I had Newcastle.
Okay.
And I had Ipswich.
Wow.
Because obviously Fulham aren't in great form. Ipswich flying high. They're second in that championship. Very good at Portman Road. And I thought it was a big chance for an upset on the cards. And I obviously put Ipswich in with Newcastle and West Ham. As a treble, Niall, what do you think that paid as a treble?
That would have been really good money. It had to be. So you went with Newcastle.
Newcastle weren't that amazing a price. They were 11-5.
Yeah.
So we're slightly better than 2-1.
West Ham must have been in around that as well, where they are slightly better.
Pretty
maybe
close, all right, yeah.
They were pretty close, like that, yeah.
Pretty close.
And Ipswich would have been, I'm thinking, 4s or 5s?
I don't think they were that high. Hang on, I'll tell you now. They weren't. They were 7-2. It was like 48-1 for the treble.
So you were looking at nearly 5 brick coming back
off a tenner, and I got 2 of them. Tick, tick, and then that little X where Ipswich were. That result hurt me more.
Do you know the worst of it as well? The worst of it is you look back and you go, I should have just done a Newcastle West Ham double. Then it feels even worse, doesn't it? It's always that way, isn't it? Why did I go that extra mile? Always we doing a bet there's one that'll trip you up. It's always the way. Give us a quick rundown. What did you think of the results last night? United we'll kind of talk about maybe separately, because I know you want to unload. But all the other ones, Chelsea, good win against Blackburn 2-0. Everton really good against Burnley 3-0. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, like I think, obviously West Ham is for me the standout result. I think West Ham winning against Arsenal is a bigger result than Newcastle winning at Old Trafford because of how poorly we've been. I think Arsenal obviously riding the crest of a wave there at the minute, and playing very well. I suppose there was an awful lot of changes. Mikel Arteta made an awful lot of changes last night. I saw the goals after the game. I gotta say, Aaron Ramsdale was very poor for a couple of them. He was really, really poor. I don't fancy his chances of getting back in again now after that. I got to be honest. I think he, rather than Raya, has secured Raya's position at the helm of the ship, let's say. Liverpool obviously picked up a good win away from home. Not an easy place to go to down at the Gold Sands down there. The Vitality, that was a good win. Didn't think the goalkeeper covered himself in glory either for Nunez's goal. I know he struck the ball quite well, but it's very, very central to go in. You know what I mean? It's not in either side of the goal. It's in the middle of the goal. And I'm kind of like, I don't really want me keeper beating in the middle of his goal like that.
When I looked at it, actually, when you look at it from the angle, from the goal line kind of angle and stuff like that, it's like as if he dived out and he created that gap where the ball went in over him or something.
If he just goes to touch his crossbar, he stops it, right?
Yeah. Or even if he goes, one-handed and just goes to tip it, he'll get that bit more elevation and stuff like that. I have to say, what I did enjoy about it, apart from being a Liverpool fan, was when he took the first touch and it nearly
they started laughing.
And they were booing and laughing at him and all.
Yeah,
and the next thing, he just cut in and buried it and he just turned around. And I don't think it's mad the way you see players' celebrations and stuff like that. But if you've seen Darwin Núñez celebrate after he scores, there's a level of joy that runs through that man's body when he scores, and it's weird to see him how he laughs and smiles and he's in the moment, that kind of way, like a child unwrapping a present. It's really, really cool to see.
I at times do think, excuse me, I have to drop something. I do think he's very immature, but in a likable sort of way, in a way that.
There's a childlike way to him, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yeah. And he made it like, is he a million miles away from a Mario Balotelli? Not really. That kind of a character. Now, obviously, he's probably a little more sensible, or they're able to control things a little bit better. But there is that childlike, I've got this money, I'm playing football, I score goals, you know what I mean? I live on the edge a little bit. Captain Chaos, we like him. I do like him, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Joanne was saying there, Arteta should be discussing with the team he put out. He should be sacked now.
He should be sacked. She didn't say sacked.
She did, yeah. Should be sacked now, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Joanne now wouldn't be an Arteta fan, that's for sure.
Sacked.
Anyway. Mate, I hope it's Merseyside derby at Wembley. Jack, I definitely don't think it'll be a Merseyside derby at Wembley. I think if anything, depending on how the draw goes, I think you could be looking at maybe Liverpool, Newcastle or something like that. And then, you'd be a brave man to back against Newcastle going all the way this year.
Very brave man.
Yeah. Darren goal was goal of the month. Yeah, it was a cracking goal, all right. What an assist by Szoboszlai for his goal as well. Yeah, absolutely.
You'd be very, very brave to back against Newcastle winning this competition right now, I think, after last year.
Dazzler, what did you think of the ref last night? We'll get into that. Don't worry. We're going to get into plenty of stuff on United tonight, I'd imagine. Man United are in the mud. I don't think he disagrees with you there. He'll tell you that himself nearly. Liverpool play United and West Ham in the same week. Yeah, that's not it. Listen, don't be worried.
Cheers, TK Red.
The one thing you'll find about Liverpool as well is you've seen through their history and stuff like that, the more games they play, the more they kind of embrace it. And if I'm a footballer, or any of you guys or girls are footballers, you probably want to be playing matches instead of training, don't you? Also, Niall, I want to correct you from a couple of lives ago. And when I said, do you think the 7-0 affected Ten Hag? And you said no, because they won a Carabao Cup after when they won it before. Sorry about that. They won it before the 7-0. Good man, Jack. Appreciate that. No problem. Arteta should have never been hired in the first place. Wow.
Ooh.
The man is in. Kyle Walsh Gunner, how are you? Good to hear from you, my friend. Hi, you two legends. Hope you are well. I told you this clown of a manager is not good enough. Arteta out. Headless chicken. Another season of no trophies.
Disgusting. Coyle, I have a question for you. If you sacked Mikel Arteta in the morning, would you take Eric Ten Hag?
That's a push, isn't it?
I just want to know what his feelings are on it. Would he go? Would he go there?
Oh, you couldn't, could you?
Listen, I'm just, playing devil's advocate, I suppose. Yeah.
Or who would you want in? Here's a good question. Who would you want in at the moment? It's interesting because that's kind of the dilemma at United at the moment as well. A lot of people are Ten Hag out and stuff like that. But when you ask them who do they want in, the silence. You know what I mean? It's hard to know now. We'll see, but we'll get into that chat in a bit.
The silence because the list of prospective coaches it's not an exciting list, let's say.
Yeah. I sing it all the time, Jack. I sing it all the time. Don't worry.
He does, Jack. He sings it in the WhatsApp group.
In the shower, everywhere I sing it. There with you. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about quarterfinals here. Who do you see going through? We run down and we get off.
Everton, Newcastle, Borough, and Liverpool.
Everton, Newcastle, Borough, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Interesting. And listen, we have to say as well, first of all, hats off to Port Vale as well. Excellent stuff.
Top of the pops. Delighted for them.
Right. That's enough of that Carabao Cup malarkey.
Shite.
The horrible cup that no one wants to win. Right, let's get into the Prem preview.
Fuck's sake. Look at the fucking table. Look at the fucking table, will you? Sake, man.
Right, take it back down.
Fucking hell.
Take it back down.
How are we 11 points off Spurs after 10 poxy football matches?
They actually, I was listening to a show last week and they actually said that. They said that if Spurs were to win on Friday and yous were to lose on Sunday in the derby, that the gap would be 11 points. It's mad, isn't it? Just goes to
11 points behind Spurs.
Here's a question for you. If Ten Hag went out and Postecoglou came in, talk to me.
Talk to you?
Yeah. Like, is this, and I know we're going to get into the United discussion and stuff like that. I think, I don't necessarily just think this is a manager thing. I think there's a lot of problems there at the moment, embedded at a number of different levels,
I think there's so many issues at our club right now, the manager is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Right. We won't.
And I genuinely think with what we have in the squad and with the money that's been spent, I kind of feel like asking an awful lot of questions of guys who have held roles in the past. Because when you look at some of the scouting and some of the recruitment, it's fucking scary. It's absolutely scary. It's mind-numbingly scary, actually.
Yeah, Coyle is saying, yeah, both standards have dropped greatly and stuff like that, but he wouldn't have Ten Hag. But he did come back with a question for you. Would you take Mikel Arteta at United? There you go.
I can answer that very easily, Coyle. Yes.
There you go. There you go.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Now, that's still not to say I'm in the Ten Hag out brigade. Yeah? But if he did leave, would I take Mikel Arteta? Absolutely.
Zidane or Simeone for Arsenal, Joanne wants. That's what
nobody, but fucking nobody, Joanne, wants Diego Simeone to manage their football team. He is a grade A shyhawk, and you will have to sit through the most fucking mundane football you've ever seen in your whole entire life. He'll make George Graham look fucking expansive.
Yeah, but they love that 1-0 to the Arsenal. That 1-0 to the Arsenal is legendary. Don't forget it. And you'll get a lot of
you know what
that.
else they loved? You know what else they loved? 6-0 under Arsene Wenger. Because that happened enough times as well, don't forget. And I know what I'd want to watch. Win, lose, or draw.
You can fucking have him, Daz. Please take him.
I'd throw him on me back and piggyback him to Manchester, man. No problem to me.
Acers wants Ollie back. I think you nearly take Ollie back at this stage.
I definitely wouldn't take Ollie back.
Arsenal haven't always been about pretty football.
Oh, I know that. My dad was an Arsenal fan.
1-0 to the Arsenal. Absolutely. Daz is gone 2-0. Right, let's start anyway. I'm going to skip the Fulham United one and do it last, which will lead us into the United chat, right? So let's start then with Brentford versus West Ham.
Yeah, I listen. I think obviously Brentford had a huge result last weekend. That was the Brentford of old, dare I say?
Yeah.
Now, do I put that down to Brentford being really, really good or Chelsea being poor on the day? I didn't think Brentford were great. And I'm going to be honest, and I spoke about this in the chat. I think if you play that Chelsea and Brentford game last week 10 times, I think Chelsea win about 8 of them. You know, I don't think Brentford win it any more than once, because I think for everything to align the way they did, Brentford kind of hit the jackpot there. They were very, very lucky. West Ham obviously dropped points last weekend at home against Everton, which was a huge, huge shock for me. It was delightful shock because I had James Tarkowski in me to come into my fantasy football team, and he took 7 points from me, so it was great. But it was a shock that they lost at home. I think they got back on the road last night. Great win at Arsenal. And I think that'll just push West Ham on a little bit. I looked at some of those West Ham players last night and I thought to myself, some good footballers here. That kind of midfield to upper end of the pitch, right? When you had Bowen, Kudus, Alvarez, Paqueta, Benrahma, and you'd like obviously Souček in the middle with Alvarez, and you still had Ings, Cornet, and Ward-Prowse on the bench. I thought, Jesus, that's all right from West Ham, right? That's all right from West Ham, really is. I'm going to go West Ham to nick this. I'm going to go West Ham. I have to make sure I didn't make any bets the other way, actually. I'm going to go West Ham to nick this. And I'm going to say 2-1 to West Ham.
Okay, interesting. I do want to give a shout out as well. That first touch off Kudus to open up for the goal was classic last night. Really, really impressive. Really liked it. Burnley versus Palace.
You know, West Ham paid half for that kid what we paid for Anthony. Half. I'm going to say that again. West Ham paid half for that kid to what we paid for Anthony. Just let that settle in there for a second, won't you?
We nearly rebuilt our whole midfield for that bread. Just saying.
Half. Paid half of what we paid for him. Okay.
Yep.
Let's move on.
Burnley Crystal Palace.
Yeah. I watched a bit of Palace last week. Let me just remind myself now. I watched a bit of Palace last week. On the Friday night, obviously, against Spurs. They weren't awful. You know, they're not a bad side. They'll pick up points. They're tight under Hodgson, you know, and they're tough to beat and stuff like that. I kind of feel like they're in a glut of teams there who could have a few extra points, you know. But I think they just struggle at times to put the ball in the net. And obviously missing Eze and Elise, their two best players, doesn't make life any easier. I'm going to go for a draw here. I'm going to go 1-1. But I think this will be keenly contested, let's say.
Good shout. Same as Joanne, 1-1. Good shout, Joanne. There you go.
Thank you, Joanne. There you go.
Anthony has more success rate beating than score goals. Stop that now. Jesus, Acers. Go easy there.
Is he wrong?
So Boz at the same price as Mickey Mouse. Yeah, absolutely. Dazzler's gone. Dazzler's gone for a 0-0 on that one. Yeah, I was thinking that. I don't know whether. I think goals in this one are going to be hard to come by, but yeah, absolutely. Everton Brighton.
Looking forward to this one. Everton on a bit of run of form, you know, 3-0 last night at home, 1-0 last weekend away. Couple of good clean sheets. Brighton not been firing on all cylinders of late. You know, and I got to be honest, when I looked at this last week, I looked at the Brighton injury list. Huge injury list there at Brighton. Huge. Now you look at the injuries and you look at the fact you've lost probably your two best players as well in McAllister and Caicedo. You've taken the two boys out and they've had a lot of injuries. It's tough for Brighton at the minute. Tough for the Zerbi. Still trying to play football the right way. Not easy though. I think we'll see goals. That's the one thing I will say. I think we'll see goals. So I'm going to surprise everyone here. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2 draw. Interesting.
2-2 draw.
Interesting. Everton, of course, trying to rack up the points before they get the bad news probably about the deduction, but certainly they're doing all the right things at the moment in the right way. Joanne's gone for it. She's gone for a 2-1 to Everton, and Bonkers is in. How are you, Bonkers? Palace with a 1-0 win against Burnley. Interesting. He's also gone for 1-1 Brighton and Everton. Yeah, I think there'll be a little bit more goals in it than that. They're both very open, I should say. So.
I think that the first three games we started with, you know, the Brentford, Burnley, and Everton games, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see all three of them end up in a draw.
Yeah. Interesting you say that. I'm going to enjoy our bets later. I went back to my draws. There you go. So there you go.
Very
we
good.
Might be thinking the same way there again.
Very good. I didn't do them, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
Man City versus Bournemouth. This is just
Man City.
Torture all day, isn't it?
Man City. Yeah. Listen, Bournemouth will be plucky. They'll come out and they'll try their best and stuff like that. But City are just a steamroller, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just a steamroller.
Yeah, this City game is excellent for your handicap. If you want to go handicap pretty good and stuff like that, it's an interesting one. Just putting it out there a little.
I know they certainly made us look handicapped last week. Just saying.
Absolutely. Everton next victory will be against United. Don't know about that. I think they'll probably beat Brighton at the weekend. Man City 3, Bournemouth 1. Bonkers has gone for a 4-1 City. Yeah, I think even the 1 is a bit generous. Daz is going for a 5-0. That sounds more like it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be shocked to see Bournemouth score here. I got to be honest.
Absolutely. Sheffield United versus Wolves.
Yeah, I've got this marked down to Wolves. I think this is another opportunity for Gary O'Neill and the lads to pick up another few points and get a little bit further up that table and open the gap between themselves and the teams below them. We know Wolves have been decent, haven't always scored the goals that some of their play is warranted. I think the injury to Pedro Neto is going to be really important to see, how long it's going to mean that he's out for, what type of extended period, because, again, I think Neto's been phenomenal for Wolves. Absolutely phenomenal for them. He really has. So that'll be a worry. But I think I'm going to go 2-1 here to Wolves. I think Wolves will get over the line. Sheffield United, again, will be in the game. But unfortunately, they're just not good enough at the back, and they cough up too many chances.
Yeah, that was it, Stephen. Definitely, that was a great result for you last night. Joanna's in. She's going 3-0 to Wolves. The only concern I have about Wolves, they're after losing Neto, aren't they, to a hamstring till the new year, I'd imagine. So, that's the only thing.
That's the big thing. Finding out how long he's going to be out for is huge, because he has been their standout player. With what they've lost and stuff like that. Obviously, Neves and stuff like that. He's been very, very good, but and difficult to replace.
Yeah, I'm all in on Wolves on my beat the bookie tonight anyway, so you'll see it later. Niall can call out Dazzler to a boxing match. We'd have fun, but I'd probably lose.
He wants us to just go and lump the head off each other, does he?
Yeah, he's gonna have to pony up serious bread for that. Do a white collar thing or something like that and have a bit of crack.
We could do something like that, but we'd want serious wedge for a serious charity.
Yeah, based on the height differential as well, I'd want low blows allowed. Just saying. We got Niall's team in the quarter final. Yeah, you did, Stephen. Stephen, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a preview for that as well. So if you fancy coming on, we'll preview that game if you fancy.
We do previews in the Carabao now, do we? Oh, yeah.
Well, it's at that
quarter final. It's still a trophy,
It's Christmas week.
Cup trophy,
Christmas week. It's the 20th. It's Christmas week.
Keep going.
Spread the joy. No, listen, I do previews and lots of stuff, boxing the whole lot of this thing. And that'll get me views and watch time. Carvo, how are you? Big up, lads. How happy are you, Carvo?
Carvo's come at a really good moment. Good, because we were about to discuss the Newcastle game, but also Carvo, you've only just joined in, pal. I backed Newcastle last night, so it didn't upset me massively that you beat us. Okay, it did upset me massively, but because I had the few quid in you, soften the blow a little bit. Anyway, let's move to Newcastle and Arsenal. Absolutely. I'm going Newcastle. I don't think there's any team in that league wants to go to St. James's Park. With how difficult they make it. Look at last night. They obviously brought in Livramento, I thought was unreal. The boy Lewis Hall. They're their second choice fullbacks. They were unbelievable last night. Obviously, Botman's injury is huge. They'll want him back as quick as they can. But, to still have Shar and stuff like that is important. I think Newcastle will win this. I think they're going to have way too much for Arsenal, and they're going to be way too physical and in your face. And I think Newcastle will win this, and I think this is going to be 2-1 to Newcastle.
Joanne's gone 4-0 to Newcastle.
Wow.
That's a big call, isn't it? I'd say 2-2 draws.
That's a shot forward.
Big up, mate. At Corvo, my bro. You're going. What did you say? 2-1 Newcastle?
I think so.
Arsenal got the win up there last year, didn't they? To break that duck that they had going on or something like that, didn't they? They hadn't won there in a while or something.
No, VAR not till the semis.
Yeah, that's right. Is there VAR in the quarter? No, only the semis.
Semis in the final.
You can always bet on the Real United Dazzler. Going in. Daz is going 3-0. Jack, everyone who was in the team in England, cough there. The Reds with Manchester. Good Lord. 2-0 to the Arsenal. Bonkers is going. There you go. There's a dynamic change then. You're going Newcastle. Joanne's going a big win for Newcastle. And Bonkers is going 2-0 to the Arsenal. Interesting. Seed should be more concerned with why Acers. Why? I have no confidence in my team under the management of that arrogant prick. Jesus. I'm looking at that table there, and I'm not being bad here, but you're 2 points off top against a team that has had a sensational start to the season. I don't know. I'd still have a lot of...
Arsenal lost a game yet? Or were they just draws?
They haven't lost in the league yet, have they?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I think both United, Spurs and Arsenal are still undefeated in the league, aren't they? As far as I know.
That's frightening, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Livramento, that lad is beautiful to watch. He's a cracker. I'll tell you one thing, Corvo. In the early days of me and Darren doing podcasting, we used to talk a lot about Livramento.
Sure did.
So just saying, even when he went out with that injury and all, we were devastated. That was at Southampton, Darren, wasn't it? At the time, he was playing for Southampton when he got the bad injury.
He was.
He came back. He's a cracking footballer, and you know something. He looks like a good, wholesome kid that's had a good upbringing as well. When you listen to him and stuff like that,
which is surprising considering he went through the Chelsea academy. Like,
yeah, he got out in time.
Just saying.
That might have been post Terry and Lampard, was it? Definitely post Terry, anyway. That's for sure. Dazzler, what you gonna pull out next? A bong? Not a chance.
Don't smoke.
Villa will destroy Forest. Oh yeah, let's get in there. Sunday then. Forest Villa.
Villa.
Yeah, I don't think they'll destroy them though. Do you?
Oh, I think it's difficult enough to go to the City ground. I think Cooper usually has his Forest team well drilled. Yeah, I wouldn't say Joanne's a million miles off there.
That's what I was thinking.
I think they might get a little more of a gloss. I think
3-1?
It might be 3-1. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just think they're all scoring goals at the minute. John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Leon Bailey, Ollie Watkins, and Moussa Diaby. Like, every time I look, it's like Villa goal, Villa goal, Villa goal. They're like, Jesus Christ, man, Emery is doing a phenomenal job there.
It's a great sign as well, isn't it? When they're spreading the goals as well, it's a great sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Luton versus Liverpool.
Well, this is me keeping my 3 Liverpool players in my team for fantasy this week. Salah, Szoboszlai, and as Jack likes to call him, Darwizzy, will be staying in my team. They were on my team last week. Would you believe I top scored in almost every league I play in last week?
Nice.
I had 99 points last week.
Yeah, I think Morris got 91, didn't he, or something like that?
91. Yeah, 91, that's right. He had 91.
That's a good score. Do
you know what my one mistake was?
Go on.
I didn't captain Haaland. If I'd have captain Haaland, I'd have broke 100. I'd have gone one away. Salah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did all right. He did fine and dandy. There was no big issue, but obviously Haaland with the 2 goals and the assist, and then he got the bonus points as well, and
Yeah, absolutely. Daz is going 4-1
to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Luton on score. I know he's aren't great at the back, but Luton on score.
Might get a little like Benny sneaky one or something like that. Who knows? Joanne's going 3-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah, that looks like it's more of a for me, if I'm honest. I think 3 or 4.
Bonkers is going 4-0. Country Road take me where I belong, West Virginia. Jackie, you must be on the prime tonight, are you? Ian is going with a draw. I presume that's for Forest and Villa. It's definitely not for Luton and Liverpool anyway. 5-0. Salah with a brace. Daz is coming in with. Bonkers with the 4-0 for Liverpool. Dazzler, well in, lad. You know who the 2024 Ballon d'Or winner win the treble. Good Lord. Acer's going. Yeah, Monday night then. Tottenham versus Chelsea.
Can't look any other way than Tottenham, if I'm honest. Thought Chelsea were good last night, by the way. Not taking that away from them, but I just think where Spurs are at the minute, this is the kind of game they'd be looking for. Encouraging for Chelsea, obviously, to see Reece James come back and Badia Shillett and stuff like that start getting guys back on the pitch. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Corvo. Yeah, they wouldn't score on a brothel with their trousers down a roll of 50 wrapped around their sausage.
Just arrived at the time Graham. I was in 3-0 to the Spurs.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be 3-0, but I think Spurs will win. I think Spurs will win 2-1.
Joanne's going for a 2-2. Ian is going 5-1 Liverpool, and Daz is going 2-0 to Tottenham, I presume. Yeah, but the only thing about it is, you look at Tottenham at the moment. Are they due? Are they due a little bit of a wobble? Could it be Chelsea that kind of grinds out a draw or something like that? They must be due
Here's
something.
the only question I would ask you: why?
Because history would tell you it happens to most teams, doesn't it?
Um,
And it tends to happen where you don't expect it as well, doesn't it? Like if you
No, I
look
think,
at City over the last few seasons,
that,
look where
listen, they
they
could have
dropped points.
absolutely lost points.
Yeah.
They could have absolutely dropped points last week at Palace, but they didn't.
Mm.
You know, I think Chelsea will come out and try and play, and they'll try and play on the front foot and stuff like that. And you know, I think that'll be really, really important. But I think Spurs will enjoy that, trying to pick them off. You know, I think that'll really, you know, with how poor they've been at the back, Chelsea. I think this'll do wonders for Spurs. You know, somebody coming out to try and play football against them. You know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting though. It'll be a bit of aggression in it anyway, to say the least. Anyway, so
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm gonna enjoy that part of it, 100%.
yeah. What did you go for in this?
I went 2-1 to the Spurs, as they call them.
Okay, 2-1 to the Spurs.
Yeah.
Bonkers was 1-1. Make my 54th there, Wizzy, edit tomorrow. Good. Looking forward to it. Chelsea have City next weekend. Yeah.
2 defeats in the bounce, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we're going to talk Man United then. Man United, or Fulham Man United. I'll take it off this because I know you want to. Well, you don't want to look at that league table anymore, I'd imagine. Anyway,
I absolutely don't. I so many things I don't want to look at right now. One of the things I really don't want to look at right now is Marcus fucking Rashford.
Okay.
I am just done with this kid.
Did you not order his new boots there the other day?
Now, when I say I'm done with this kid, right, I am fucking done with this kid. Unless he decides to bang some chick and he pops out the next baby Jesus, he can go and fuck himself at this stage. Because Marcus Rashford, right, seriously, let's look at this now. I'm going to go with this for a couple of reasons. Last Sunday was obviously a huge day in Manchester for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons was it was an opportunity for United as a club to pay some respects to Bobby Charlton. Right now, obviously, as a United fan, Bobby Charlton holds a special place in my heart. You know, he was on that Munich flight and he survived, and he had opportunities to leave the club, and he didn't leave the club. He stayed and he helped rebuild and stuff like that. And he's been an ambassador for the club and stuff like that. And if you look at somebody like Marcus Rashford and you look at somebody who would have grown up like within 15, 20 minutes, he's from Withenshaw, like he's grown up within 15 or 20 minutes of Old Trafford. He knows who Bobby Charlton is. He knows he's an icon. You go out there and you run through a fucking brick wall for that guy and for his memory, and to put some sort of a touch next to his name. And then you watch the performance he puts in against City. Now, there's a couple of issues I have with obviously a performance he puts in against City. The first issue is he was absolutely fucking horrendous. He was so bad he wouldn't get a game playing that shite League of Ireland, right? That's how bad he was. He was dog shit. The second thing was his lack of effort and the negative body language, right, is just off the charts. This guy doesn't look interested. I don't know where his head is, but it's not a football pitch. It's not anywhere near a football pitch. The next issue I have, and this kind of, I have to cross swords with my manager here, how somebody allowed Marcus Rashford to play. I think he played about 80 minutes last Sunday, right? I'm going to have a look just so I can get all my numbers right on this. I think he played 80 minutes on this, yeah? Now, how somebody decided that Rashford was going to play, here we go. Rashford played 86 minutes. Yeah.
85 minutes they were doing the subs, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, 86 minutes. Now, obviously, it's a little bit more difficult to keep track of the time when you're in the stand and stuff like that. Yeah. But
they made Rashford a double sub, didn't they? Made a double sub on 85 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah.
86 minutes, he took Marcus Rashford off. How he lasted 60 is absolutely beyond me. Personally speaking, I'd have hooked my half time. He was so poor, right? The best player on the pitch last week in a red jersey was the boy Rasmus Højlund. Yeah? He went in the first lot of substitutes in the 73rd minute, and the manager was booed when he came off. It was an awful decision to bring him on, to take him off, and to leave Rashford out there. Rashford is, for me, right now, as a Man United fan, persona non grata. He needs to take a serious look in the mirror. I just can't believe how anyone, a kid who grew up supporting Man United, could go out and put in a performance like that on the day it was. That for me is unforgivable, regardless of his form going into it or regardless of his form coming out the back end of it. That day should have meant more to you than fucking anyone in that stand. Because you know what? There's so many people in that stand would have given their left one to be out there and to try and put something on Bobby Charlton's name, right? And what they would have done for it. And this guy had the opportunity. And you know what he did? He fucking sat down. He didn't stand up. He sat down.
Tell me this. I want to ask you a question. You were obviously in the stadium. You were at the derby.
Yeah.
I've often spoke about the body language of the United players. That I just think it's shocking. And I've said it a number of times, stuff like that. How bad is it compared to when you're watching it when you're there? Is it
probably worse?
Because a lot of it you might not see.
Probably worse. I think I spoke about this to somebody today. And listen, I suppose when I'm making comparisons between us and other teams, people probably think, why is he even mentioning United in the same breath as City? Well, the reason I mention it in the same breath as City is City are competition. City are where we strive to be. Now, if I look at, let's say, Manchester City, and I look at how they play, and I look at how they perform, and I look at how they go through the decision-making process, and also how they deal with the decision-making process. Because let's not forget, when the guy in the black jersey in the middle decides to make a decision, we can't change it. We cannot change it. Whether it's a good decision, a bad decision, an insufferable decision, whatever it is. They now have the use of VAR. They now have the drop-down lines for offside. They're now going to go and look at screens. They're going to do this, that, and a brand new pack. But whatever decision they make, we are absolutely 110% not going to change their mind. Bruno Fernandes, somebody needs to explain this to Bruno Fernandes. Somebody needs to tell the guy, you pissing and moaning in the referee's face more than likely make sure we don't get any of the fucking 50-50s because you're a really, really unlikable cunt, Bruno. And I'm a fucking fan. If I'm on that pitch reffing that game...
And refs are human. And refs are human. So human nature.
Like, why in God's name is every time I'm looking at him, he's pissing and moaning in a referee's face? I shout, they came back for the corner the other day and he was pissing and moaning at the referee again. I said, you'd be the fucking Ballon d'Or if your feet moved the way your lips did, you prick. Like, that's fucking painful, man.
Do you know what I did? Here's a laugh for you. Do you know what I did when I was coaching? When I was coaching the under 18s and under 19s, we had a couple of lads in the team that were quite mouthy, and it used to cause us problems with refs.
Yeah.
And what I did was I adopted a new thing. I pulled them all one side one time, and I said, from now on, you're not going to talk back to the ref, and I'm going to sub you. And I said, also, what we're going to do is, before every game, when you're doing your warm up and your drills and your shooting and all that, as soon as the ref walks onto the pitch, I want each of you to go over, shake his hand, say, how are you, ref? Having a good day? And just do that. But not do it in a way where they're lining up to do it. But just as a ball goes over there, I used to say to lads, even the Ben and goals and all, I used to say, when you're kicking balls out during the warm-up, then put them out towards the ref, will you? I want guys to go out towards the ref and make eye contact with him, say hello, shake his hand, all that kind of stuff. Get the ref on side. It's the oldest trick in the book. And you know it. And
we are really, really, really unlikable.
And we have so many. Remember?
Was it us were the master, or was it Ferguson was the master of it?
Well, it was a combination.
Because I feel like he had
to put it out there as
right.
Well.
But here's the thing: like, I'm looking at that team, and I'm like, there's so many unlikable people in that team who, if I'm a referee, I'm champing at the bit to throw a card at. Casemiro, if I'm a referee, Casemiro gets booked every single week of the fucking year. Yeah. because he's unlikable. The shithousery he goes on with the pulling the jerseys, the tapping ankles, the little elbows, the sly things, which, by the way, make him the player he is, yeah? Or should I say, was, because I also have a theory on this, and I'm going to go in again on this. I feel like we were done up worse by Real Madrid than Newcastle were by AC Milan.
Wow. That's a statement. Do you really
That is a
believe
statement.
that?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Or as someone else said to me today, do you know what? They've done a bigger number on us than Bayern did with Steiger.
Jesus. That's a statement. That
The
is a statement
recruitment,
now, isn't it?
the recruitment has been fucking septic. Septic. Look at I spoke about this last night. In the last number of years at United, players have made failure a daily occurrence. Try and pick out for me, right? I'm going to ask you, you could either pick 5 guys who done well since they came in, or you can pick 10 who haven't. Which can you do quicker?
Oh, the 10.
So you can do you can pick double the amount of guys who have been shite since they came in.
Yeah.
Double the amount of guys. I'm gonna just pop something open here because I want help. I want to use this for something. Yeah. I'm just gonna go in here. Sorry, 1 second, because I just want to get up my United. Here we go. I'm going into my app now.
See that there? I kind of, you were going there. I kind of agree with you there, Carvo, somewhat, but I think the way the game has evolved since Fergie's time in the last 10 years, like, you can't, the way the setup there at United and what's happened with the players and stuff like that. And, I've other thoughts about the managerial situation as well, and not in terms of sacking or hiring. But I have my view on the managerial situation is that the Glazers, it's very clear the Glazers don't care about football. And it's very clear the Glazers don't give a damn who the manager of Man United is. And I think what they do is, I think they use the managerial position as a financial tool to manipulate the market in their favour, to drag down 200 million every 18 to 24 months. And that's what I think they actually do. And I think it's very convenient for them because it's money that they can earn into their coffers outside of the Manchester situation where they're operating in the stock market. So it's kind of nearly in their interest, and it's horrible to say this. It's in their interest for a manager to have.
It's not kind of in their interests.
Yeah, it is. But we
fucking
don't,
in their interest.
Yeah, but I don't want to be tinfoil hat either. But we've looked at it and stuff like that, and we know it's repeated itself a number of times. But I'm kind of thinking as well is where I'm coming from is what they do is for about 12 months, maybe 18 months, depending on how long they're there, does somewhat success. Yep. And the share price is building towards that, the different sponsorships, whatever it is. Then all of a sudden it nosedives and goes to shit. Share price collapses. The boys are buying in the shares, rallying in at that price. We're talking big wedge here now. We're not talking about me or you who might buy 100 shares, something like that. And then what happens is they appoint a new manager. You get that new manager bounce, share price steams up again, and boom, they cash in. And we've seen them do this time and time again to the point where I don't know how it's not illegal, but it's legal.
It should be illegal. It should be illegal.
It should be, but it's not.
Insider trading. It should be illegal.
I think that's the way the managerial position has gone there.
Well,
I think what they do, they just use it as that.
If they were gambling, it would be illegal. Does that make sense? Because we look at what they've just done with Tonali, or Ivan Toney. So you can't bet on it, but you can buy and sell off the back of it, which is the same thing.
What's the difference? Yeah.
Right?
Because let's be honest, gambling is semantics. A speculation. It's a speculation as well.
That's all it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all it is. I just want to get up the list of players here because I just think it's a who's who of flops. It really is. I was talking today about the squad as a whole. Now I found I saw 2 shreds of comfort from Sunday. One which people will probably be able to guess, but the second one I don't think you will actually. And the first crumb of comfort I took was, and I don't know how much of the game you watched, because obviously Liverpool were playing this similar time. The boy Hoyland was awesome at times. He was awesome, very very good. You know, he went up against that City back four, which we know were a good back four and stuff like that. He played, he held the ball up well, he tried to turn and go in behind. Did lots of good stuff, the lad. Really, really did. I suppose that was my first time seeing him since he's come in. Yeah. And it did kind of fill me with a little bit of hope. And I thought, you know what? Yes, this is fucking big for us. I said, because if we can feed this kid, he'll score. But we need service. We need to feed him. The other, and this is something we speculated on recently, actually, the other small crumb of comfort that I found was the Turkish goalkeeper. Bayindir. Because remember, we'd spoken about this lad and we'd said, obviously, De Gea was coming in and we spoke about, well, maybe he doesn't fancy this lad. Should have seen him. Fucking top drawer. Now, when I mean top drawer, I mean top drawer. To the point I went, why isn't he playing? He is a big kid, yeah. He's a really big kid. He's about 6'4", 6'5". He's a big lad, yeah. He's in the same sort of structure, let's say, to David De Gea, where, you know, he goes out a little bit at the shoulders, but it's tucked in at the waist. You can put your hands around his waist, but he's obviously much, much bigger than De Gea. Came to crosses, kicked, saved. The warm-up, I was like, because myself and Andrew were obviously two goalkeepers, we're sitting there, and we're watching this, and I'm like, this kid is fucking outrageous. Because Onana's obviously playing in goal, so he's done a bit. We've seen the boy be in there, and we've seen Heaton. Of the three keepers, the very best of what we have is the Turkish lad. Fact. And you may see this when Onana goes off to the African nations. You may get to see this. This kid's impressive. I'm calling this, and he hasn't kicked the football for us, right?
Yeah, it's Stephen. There's a Hogan one up there, and then I think there's the G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter, and I think the other one beside it is a signed Robert Patrick and NECA from Terminator 2. I think they're the three that are up there, if I'm right. He was just asking me that. Yeah, it's a kind of, why didn't he play him last night? It's a Carabao Cup, like. Isn't that where you're supposed to drop in your number twos?
Absolutely. And I gotta tell you, like, this kid is really good. I think, only me, we don't know how the situation's going to pan out. Obviously, we know Onana's going to the AFCON. We know he's going to the AFCON.
Yeah, kind of nearly said it, didn't he?
Basically. Right, we know that. I don't know who's going to be in charge between now and the AFCON at United. I think that's up in the air slightly. I think, as somebody said a minute ago, if Copenhagen managed to get something out of the home game, we're in lumber. It looks like we're probably out of the Champions League. We're out of the Carabao, and we're pissing in the wind in the league. I think at that stage, you might see a change, unfortunately. I think you might. Depending on who comes in, they'll obviously have to make a decision whether they're going to play Heaton, Bayindir, or maybe whether they're going to sign De Gea on. If this kid gets any game time in January and February, I don't think Onana gets back in. This kid was very, very impressive.
Yeah, I think in the situation you described there as well, you know, I don't know why even De Gea is coming back in. If you have him there as a number one and Heaton as a number two, it's unlikely you're going to get two keepers injured over a 4-week period. Now, listen, the way United's been going this season, anything can happen.
We'll probably
it's highly unlikely. Yeah, but it's a mad situation and stuff like that. Can you see? I suppose I have to ask you this. Right? Does Ten Hag definitely go, or can you see a way back? Do you think he's lost the players looking at what you're saying? Looking at last night, what you're saying and all? Do you really think he's lost him? He's coming out with some weird... like, what did you make? What did you make of the tactic thing? The Johnny Evans over Varane, and he called it tactic. What sort of tactic is there? Like it's...
Well, I can see, you know, a tactic there. I can.
Yeah. But you know what I felt when he said it? I felt like it was a Jadon Sancho moment again, but he just didn't want to fucking throw it out there.
No, I think obviously, you know, Varane is at the minute, he's really struggling to get on the park. He's really struggling. He plays, he doesn't play. He plays, he has to come off.
So frustrating
So
for a manager.
frustrating.
Nightmare.
Right? Evans has come in and he's actually done all right. He's done all right now. That's a very sad indictment of our situation in the back. And again, I spoke about this today with somebody. Of all we have at centre back, we have 5 centre backs at the club right now, 5 senior centre backs. We have Harry Maguire, who has struggled an awful lot for form over the last couple of years. He's at the minute, he's got the jersey. Do I think he'll keep it? Probably not. You got Johnny Evans, a guy you brought in at 35 years of age, who's just been relegated with 2 teams, Leicester and West Ham. David was actually who I was talking about earlier on with this. Sorry, talking about this with earlier on. Varane has made a proper mache. He's just he's not robust enough for the Premier League. This is possibly why, again, Madrid saw this coming down the road, because he was starting to build up an injury record at Madrid. And Madrid went, we don't need that. We need guys that are going to play every week. You look at Alaba, and you look at the lad Rudiger that came in from Chelsea. They are fit every single week, physically robust. All
the top teams have that, don't they? All the top teams have players who are continually available, always available to play.
Victor Lindelof is a guy who's been at United for a number of years now. And if after the 5 years he's been there, we don't know he's not the answer, we're in trouble again. Because he's not up to being in the first choice pairing at Manchester United. He's had good games over a prolonged period. It doesn't work for him. He's not physical enough. He's going and losing headers to guys 2 feet taller or smaller than, should I say. And you're like, Victor, just going out and muscle the guy, he doesn't have the sort of pace you would want. He's not as brave on the ball as you'd want him to be. There's just so many issues with him. And then, I suppose for me then, all it leaves you with is Martinez, and I don't even think Martinez is the answer. Like, I think Martinez could be part of our defensive unit, right? If you're talking about 8 to 10 players, would I have Martinez in? Yes. Would I have Shaw in? Yes. Would I have Wan-Bissaka on the other side? Yes. Of everything else that's there, I think you could sell Dalot. I think you could sell Malacia. Reguilon goes back to Spurs. Maguire, Evans, Varane and Lindelof aren't worth a wank to you. So all of a sudden, with everything we've spent defensively even, what have you got? Two to three players? 2 to 3? Right, that's horrific. That's dreadful. Then you look across the midfield, right? You've got old man fucking River on his walking stick. Casemiro, yeah? We're in trouble with him. If he doesn't go to Saudi in January or at the end of the year, we're in trouble because we're not going to get enough money back on him to be able to reinvest. Yeah? You've Scott McTominay, who we don't know what Scott is. This is a huge problem. Scott can't play 6. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's not a number 10 because he doesn't create enough, which means then he has to be a number 8. And at times as a number 8, he's not physical enough in there. He's not bossing the game like you would want from a number 8. Yeah. Bruno at 10 has been like the drop off from Bruno Fernandes. Don't forget when Bruno Fernandes came in and he went on that run of games. You remember when he came into January and he went on the run to the end of the season? And we were talking about Bruno Fernandes with Real Madrid, Barcelona, the biggest clubs in the world. It's going to be difficult to hold on to Fernandes. It's going to be difficult to hold on to Fernandes. We couldn't fucking give him away right now because he's more of a problem than an answer. We fucking couldn't give him away, right? You've got Amrabat who's come in. Already, I think you see how limited he is in what he can do. Now, I don't mind that in a sense. He's a 6. He has to play 6. He's not an 8. He doesn't create. He's a 6. He needs to sit. But if he's going to sit a 6, you've now Casemiro now. Because he takes that spot. And if he's going to sit at 6, he needs 2 ahead of him. Someone that's going to create and somebody that's going to go and play both sides. Because if you've got a midfield 3, right, and one of them is defensive as your 6 is Amrabat, and one of them is attacking as your 10, say Bruno, you need somebody to link your 6 and your 10.
Yeah. That's why I call. That's why on our side. Yeah, right? That's why on our side I call Alexis McAllister a 7.
Right.
That's like, so we don't. He's not a 6, and he's not playing as an 8. So I call him a 7. He's like a
right.
Hybrid.
And we need someone to fit in there. The recruitment is what's killing us. The recruitment is really, really killing us. Like, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna annoy a lot of people. I fucking loved watching the kid Hannibal last night. I loved it, and I know United fans were worried that he sailed very close to the wind. I loved that he sailed close to the wind. I loved that he got in and he put himself about and he bashed into fucking Longstaff, and then he tried to stand on Joe Linton, and I just thought, why is this being left to a kid? Now, we had this exact conversation after the Liverpool defeat last year, if you remember. And we asked the question
this season.
And we asked the question, why is this being left to a fucking child in the middle of the park? Because that's all he is. He's a kid, right? And then we go against Burnley. He sets records for the ground he covers in a Man United jersey in a game, and he's shown the fucking bench. The kid needs to play. He can be the 8. Put Amrabat in as the 6 and put Hannibal in as the 8. He can do work defensively and he can do work offensively. And then we need to find out who can play at 10. Because at the minute, Bruno Fernandes can't. And Mason Mount is just miles off it. He's coming into a shit situation. But he is fucking miles off it. I'll tell you what I would possibly do. And here's something that might work for us. Because of how bad Rashford has been, I would possibly give Mount a spin on the left-hand side, which we've seen Chelsea do quite a bit with him at times. Remember he played that Carabao Cup and stuff against you, and he used to play on the left-hand side, and he took in quite a bit, and he was effective. I think I'd like to see Mount float on that left-hand side. I'd like to see, possibly push Rashford to the other side. And I'd like to see some way of getting Garnacho and Højlund in at the same time. Because I think the boy Højlund, as good as he looks isolated constantly. Whereas I think if you can play somebody in around him who can maybe play off him, because he's a big kid, he holds the ball up well. You know what I mean? And we know that the boy Garnacho likes to take the ball in a stride and move with it and stuff like that. I'd maybe even like to see Højlund drop into the 10 and let Garnacho go as the 9. Stick your Hannibal maybe and your Amrabat in there. And then certainly for me, I'd give Mount a spin on the left because I think he couldn't be any worse than what's played there. I think Rashford has been absolutely terrible. Like, he's been so poor. One of the things that did annoy me from last night was the fact that he took Bruno and Rashford off the bench. I would have left them. I would have left them sit there, and I would have let them think, you guys could have got us out of a hole here. But because of how many times you've fucked us over, I'm not willing to give you the opportunity to do it again. Because don't forget, they come on, and what did they do between them? Fucking diddly.
Yeah. It's interesting you talk about the youth there, because you've seen me on a number of match reactions last year for Liverpool, where I was going ballistic at the fact that Stefan Bojetic and Harvey Elliott were carrying the team at times. And I was saying, what the hell are these two kids carrying the team for with all this experience in the team? I used to go ballistic at Henderson and Fabinho and all these guys going, why are these kids showing you up and bringing the energy and what we need more? So you only have to go back and at the first half of last season where I was going ballistic over that. And you're going through a similar thing. Just Redbird there, Kwanzaa, that boy Jarrell Kwanzaa, I tell you, he is going to be an absolute star. He's a unit and he's a very, very, very good defender. His reading of the game is excellent and his distribution is brilliant. You're absolutely right, Redbird. There is shades of Hansen there without the way he glides and moves and stuff that eats up the pitch and does it very easy. No nervousness with him. Doesn't panic about anything. Very, very controlled. Very like Virgil van Dijk as well. Absolutely. Dave's in. Talk about replacing Ten Hag with Amarim, who only started coaching Braga first team in 2019. Give me strength. You see, the problem that you're going to have with getting rid of Ten Hag and bringing someone in, and Darren, we spoke about this before when we talk about Chelsea being that bag of licorice all sorts in there, where you've got multitude of players for a multitude of managers and all that kind of thing. And I loved what you spoke about the other day to me, where you said we need to start buying players for a system and stop buying players for managers. And I thought that was a really cool way of describing it. But if you're a manager going in there now, let's suppose Ten Hag goes. And, you know, for argument's sake, let's suppose Zinedine Zidane goes in. It doesn't matter who goes in. You're going to be working with a group of players there. Now you've got this influx of Dutch players and Ten Hag players that he wanted. You're going to have to deal with that. You've got the old school in there that turns on managers willy-nilly and switches off, albeit whether Jadon Sancho is your mate or whatever it is that goes on there in the background. And then you've got some players back there, even back to Louis van Gaal and Mourinho and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, how are you supposed to deal with that as a manager going in there, knowing that, like, if you don't go in there and cozy up to these guys, they're going to hang you out to dry. And if you do go in and cozy up, they get away with murder. So what
you
do
see,
you
and
do?
that's the problem. You've with what we have at the minute, I don't see anything past being absolutely fucking ruthless. And I think this is why things went so poorly for Ralph Rangnick. Because we know now that a lot of what Rangnick has said has come to fruition.
Spoke the truth.
He came in with both barrels.
A lot of what Jose said at the time has come out as well, if you think about it. Now, I know he lost his mind somewhat.
Yeah, but he also, the thing with Jose was, the biggest issue with Jose was, Jose only ever wants to deal with the now. He doesn't want to deal with what's in the future and stuff like that. I think Rangnick had an idea of how we need to do things as a club. And you know, from a youth standpoint or from a youth point of view, whereas Jose wants to buy 28, 29-year-olds for immediate success, but with no longevity then, you know, where you're going to have to keep rolling over. That's not sustainable either. We know that. You need to be able to buy guys in at certain ages and allow them to grow into a team and a setup and a club and stuff like that. And it's really important. And I think Rangnick, a lot of what he said has come to fruition about certain people. But as you said, because he took both barrels out and he went after a couple of lads, they down tools for him. Yeah. That for me that's for you to down tools on the club that's paying your wages because you take homage with what the manager is saying about you, be it right or wrong. Again, you may not believe it's right, but I think players owe it to the clubs as employers to have a look in the mirror every now and again and see. Like I regularly use a tactic when I'm working in the club, and I'll ask the kids themselves, and if what we're doing is below par, I'll say we'll stand around and there's 6 kids and I'll say, give yourself a score out of 10. And little Johnny will say 5. 5, okay. Yeah. Next one, 4. Okay. What about you? 6. You 5. Okay. So if you're telling me the absolute top of the tree we have right here now is 6 out of 10, lads, how would you describe that? And of course, because they know me, one of them will now say, that's fucking shy. You're correct. It is. Right? So what do we need to do? Well, we need to get everyone up to 7s and 8s. We need everyone to be working. Because you working is great, but you working on your own isn't as good as you and you working together. Because everyone needs to pull in the same direction. Just look at City. And I spoke about it earlier with David. Like, it kills me, obviously, because they're one of our big rivals and stuff. But at times, watching City, you're just thinking, this is the blueprint. Not necessarily the style of football, but this is how a club should be run. You know, and again, Pep wants certain players, and the City board go, We'll give you certain players, but we'll give you what you know what I mean? We're not just going to go and get this guy because he's what you want. Because if you're not here in a little while, we still need to be able to do things. And it means they have way less wastage than what we have. And they've way more success in the market. Now, obviously, it's easy when you're playing well and everyone's doing the right thing. But don't forget, even under Ferguson, we had a lot of wasted signings. A lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a huge portion. Of course, he got it right with certain players, but he got it right. And for me, this is where we're falling down slightly. He got it right when he was buying from the Premier League and he was buying stars. Oh, am I shocked Dwight York and Andy Cole were successes? No. They were two of the standout strikers in the league at that stage, playing for Newcastle and Villa. Now, knowing you bring them to Old Trafford with better players, bigger crowd, better manager, of course they're going to look better. Do you know what I mean? Whereas we're gone to Feyenoord and we've said, see that left back that doesn't play every week, we'll take him. Oh, okay. Yeah, great. And then we've gone to Ajax and we've gone, now listen, we know you've sold more players than you'll ever need to sell in your fucking future as a club. But because you've done that, we're going to try and throw a big cherry on top. Because you know that guy Anthony Hughes, a bang average player, we don't want to give you 40 million from. We don't even want to give you 65 million from. We want to give you fucking 90 million from. Now, whatever's going wrong at Ajax at the minute, the one thing you cannot say is they haven't gone and pissed the money away. Because they haven't bought. They don't do that. Right? They haven't do. So they secured the future of the club for generations with what they were able to sell. Frankie de Jong, Donny van de Beek, the boy De Ligt, Onana, so many of these guys, Anthony, Edison Alvarez, Martinez, Bergwijn, like the list is endless. And the Premier League clubs, we'll take him. I'll take him too. I'll say, you could name on, I reckon you could name on one hand the amount of players that the Premier League as a whole has signed from that Dutch division, from that era division, and they've gone on to be absolute top grade. You can net right. Jaap Stam and Ruud van Nistelrooy are the first two to come to me because I'm a United fan, right? Mark Overmars. Yeah? Okay. After that, I can think of a lot of guys who didn't make the grade.
Well, Van Persie as well. Did you mention
Van Persie? Was Feyenoord, but yeah, that's okay. Like guys that were bought in, Everton paid big bucks for the boy. Davy Klaassen was fucking shite. Had to get shipped out. Donny van de Beek, dirt. Mattea Kesman, shite. Steven Bergwijn, more shite. How many times is this going to happen?
Yeah, well,
I think is this going to happen?
Yeah, I think what you're highlighting there as well is like the step up into the Premier League is a huge jump from those leagues around Europe. We've even seen it at times with the Bundesliga when they bring in players and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're nowhere near the grade, and these could be guys that look amazing in the Bundesliga.
Yeah,
but when they come in here, they just we seen Timo Werner, we seen a Kai Havertz, so many of them. Now we have seen other ones, of course. Bala came in, who was unbelievable and all and stuff. So. But
that seems to be lesser and lesser as we look at the numbers. And for me, if I'm United right now, I'm looking around that Premier League and I'm saying, okay, if we need to do a little bit of rebuilding here, we need to start picking up guys who play within this league, have proved themselves within this league, and who can further us as a team at the right sort of price. There's players there. There is players there. I'll give you a for instance, right? I'll give you a for instance. Now, you don't need to be a genius to name too many of these guys, right? But if you look at from last weekend, yeah, guys I would have in my team over what we had at United, yeah? So, your first game of the weekend was Palace versus Spurs. Okay. the boy Anderson at centre back at Palace. Is he better than Maguire? Absolutely. Is he better than Luis Suarez? Very good, Davey. Is he better than Anderson? Better than Maguire? Yep. Better than Evans? Yep. Better than fucking Varane? Yep, because he plays games. And better than Lindelof? Absolutely. The boy Anderson. He's not going to cost you 100 million. He's going to cost you a few quid, but he's not going to cost you 100 million, right? The boy, there's a lad that plays at centre back for Bournemouth, and his name is Zabarni. Yeah, he's a centre half. He's quality. He's absolutely quality. He plays for Bournemouth. Bournemouth are shy, so he's got loads of shite around him. But you can still see that this kid's a fucking diamond, right? The same as, and I'm beating this drum a little while as well now, the kid Onana at Everton. Yep, this kid is fucking outrageous. Like, he is top drawer, this kid. But he's at fucking Everton. Now, Everton copped up big bucks from, I think they paid about 40 million. So he ain't leaving the building for 50 or 60. But we know Everton are struggling for money.
You told us that we should have went and got him as part of our midfield rebuild.
This kid is tops. But there's so many players around that league that you can look at and go, he could do a job. He could do a job. Look at Villa. How many of those lads at Villa? Look at Diaby at Villa. 40 million. We spent over double that on Anthony. One guy is striving, he's scoring, he's creating, he's got fucking everything. And then you've got Anthony. You know, like, just
absolutely.
Even guys in the and there's another guy who's out injured at the minute, and I'm a huge fan of his, and it's the boy Danilo at Forest.
Yeah.
This kid came on the scene last January, and between January and the end of the season, he played a number of games. Centre midfield, he was a terrier. He scored a couple of goals, and he was fucking out the door. And he was carrying a couple of knocks. He needs to get himself back on the pitch and build that up again. But at one stage, this kid looked like Lucas Paqueta. Outrageous in the league. He's in the fucking league, and we're going and spending 90 million on Anthony, who couldn't do it against fucking Feyenoord in the Dutch Cup. Fuck off, will you, lads? It's fucking lazy. It's fucking lazy.
Isn't it kind of weird when you look at a lot of those players that you name and stuff like that? Cody Gakpo probably comes into it as well. These were heavily linked with Man United and went elsewhere, and now they're kind of tearing it up, a lot of these. If you went down through a lot of those new guys that have entered into the Premier League, a lot of them are heavily linked with United over a number of transfer windows. And for one reason or another, they go elsewhere or something happens, whatever it is, and they don't go there. But if you think about United and you think, like, if you had got Cody Gakpo, if you had brought in this player or that player or the other players that you're linked with and stuff like that, the landscape would look very different. The problem that you have at the moment there, I suppose, as well, is with the contracts that have gone out there, is it's very, very difficult to move players on. Like you heard Keith earlier talking
impossible.
About, it's like you look at Marcus Rashford now, 350 grand a week, 5-year contract or whatever it is, and how are you going to move him on? What and why would he move? You know what I mean? Like,
I'd piggyback him anywhere in Europe for free if he'd do it. Just leave, please, just get out. Because I cannot believe a guy like Marcus Rashford can go out and perform the way he did last Sunday, knowing what Sunday was and knowing what Sunday meant to so many people, and not just because it was a derby, but because of the day that was in it, because of, Sir Bobby Charlton, because of how much of a legend he was at the club, how much of an icon he was in not just in United, but at England level as well. Like, and I gotta say, the Manchester City supporters were really good on Sunday, and they didn't try and make any sort of issue, of Charlton, because obviously he was seen as an England player as well, not just as a United player. I thought the City fans were good on Sunday as well for that, I have to be honest with you.
Yeah, do you know what it sort of rang true to me there, and Azers mentioned it earlier. You think about these players having to go home knowing that they didn't put in a shift, that they didn't try their heart out and stuff like that. And then, as you said about City, You look at the likes of Grealish, or you look at Bernardo Silva. There's the perfect example. Rodri, Bernardo Silva, guys like that who are running non-stop for 90 minutes into the ground. They
And
will literally run through the hoarding for Pep.
And here's the most important part of that for me. They're good footballers. They're good footballers. Like, you've got somebody like Rashford who has the ability to be a good footballer, right? But as we talk about all the time, I slap my son over the head with this all the time. Ability's only going to take you so far. And after that, it's going to be hard work, right? Because I don't doubt the boy Rodri wasn't, wasn't the sparkling diamond he is right now. But the guy works his fucking bollocks off. He really does. Bernardo Silva outworked everybody on that pitch the other day. And he did it alongside the fact that he is a super talented footballer. So, when I look at Marcus Rashford and I think, when he's looking in the mirror, maybe he's thinking, I'm too good to run. Look down the road. Look at it. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. Look at Bernardo Silva. Look at Rodri. Look at Phil Foden.
Isn't it?
All really good footballers, but breaking their nutsack for the owners of that football club, for the badge that they wear in that jersey, and for their manager and for their fans. And not one United player on Sunday, possibly other than the boy Hoyland, did that for me. And that's a really sad indictment of where we are as a club right now.
And it's mad, isn't it, when you look at City, even Haaland at the end of that match, even getting what he got, and you've Pep going over to him, giving it to him a little bit, saying, you should have got a lot more today. What's going on? And I was still giving it to him and stuff like that and all, I don't think there's any player on that City team that walks into a dressing room, maybe with the exception of Calvin Phillips probably, but apart from him, and he's the oddball kind of there, I don't think Pep has to go over to any of those players in any stage and go, you didn't put it in for me today. Look at Vardy all after going in there and all, and he's working his socks off. Kovacic working his socks off after coming in from Chelsea. He could have easily come in and just rode that out the same as Calvin Phillips and stuff like that. But an absolute workhorse, coming on even as a sub and stuff like that, and absolutely coming on like a lunatic to get the job done and stuff.
Well, they look like, and that's the other thing. Like, we bring on subs, and it's kind of like we're bringing on subs to win us the game rather than the sub saying, well, if I go out here and I do everything I have to do for the next 30 minutes, I play the next game. Some of them guys know that's not going to happen. Some of them guys know, like Garnacho comes on generally 25, 30 minutes to go, puts in a shift all the time. Again, one of the youngest players there, puts in the shift. Garnacho knows, I can put a fucking hat-trick in, and this other school dinner cunt is going to be back in next week. So then, why do I bother? Why do I bother? Sure, he could go in with a fucking Uzi into the school down the road, take 10 of them out, and he'd still start on fucking Sunday morning. Because he's King Marcus.
I think it's just,
get fucked.
It's a weird situation, isn't it? It's mad to think about it. It just beggars belief.
Sorry, that's down to the manager. And as much as I'm on his side, that's down to the manager. That is down to that's down to him as a manager. He's made that happen. He has created that. Bruno Fernandes, how has he not been sat down for 2 or 3 games in a row and said, now you watch while somebody goes out and does a bit? And how has somebody not told him? The next time the ref gives the free, turn your back and shut your fucking mouth.
Well, he must be. He has to be told that. He has to have been told that. He's just petulant.
So there's a lot of talk going around. Is he stupid?
But there's a lot of talk going out there at the moment as well that Ten Hag is laying out what he wants to do, tactically set up, whatever it is. And we can question that in-game, all that kind of stuff and all. But it sounds from what we're hearing coming out and stuff like that, and this locker room leaks and all, does my head in. But it sounds like he's coming out with a plan of what he wants to do, and when they're going out onto the pitch, they're basically just going into business for themselves. And they're not following anything that this guy, because if you look at Ten Hag on the sideline,
11 individuals.
He
11
looks
individuals.
bewildered. He looks bewildered of what he's actually seeing in front of him on the pitch and what's happening.
11 individuals. We look like individuals, FC. We don't look like 2 or 3 guys are pulling in the same direction. Maybe until the last 15 minutes of the game where they think we can just get the out of jail card here. We can just pull the river card. This is fucking horrific. Absolutely horrific.
You give you work rate anyway, Billy Gilmore, that's for sure. Fulham, remember FA Cup quarterfinals last season, yeah.
Fulham will beat us on Saturday, by the way. Fulham will beat us on Saturday. Ain't no doubt about it. We don't love it there at the Cottage either, by the way. We haven't got a great record there. We've been beaten there a number of times. We had a late goal last year, if you remember, just heading into the World Cup from Garnacho to nick it. We will not win at Fulham on Saturday. If we get a draw, it's a result.
Here's one for you, okay? The derby is obviously very raw for a number of things. Obviously, Bobby passing away and all, and the effort that you expect, go out and do it and show up. It's a derby, blah, 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 blah. You know, and then the situation in the Carabao Cup last night, which was, you know, equally, if not just as bad. But one thing I wanted to ask you, I had a look today. I seen a thing on Twitter and I captured it to have a look at it. Last season, 15 games in, 22 goals, 15 assists. Okay? This season, 15 games in, 20 goals, 16 assists. So there's literally the swing of 1 more assist and 2 goals in the difference between this season and last season. First 15 games in. Now, if you couple that with the problems that you've had with Onana coming in as a new keeper and trying to settle and figure out, and he was brought in to play a certain way, but kind of the pieces of the jigsaw aren't really there to be playing out from the back the way you want and all that kind of stuff, right? If you take into account Lissandro's being missing, Varane is in and out of the team, Maguire has had to come back in, you've lost Luke Shaw, all these kind of things, Lindelof playing on the left, Dalot on the right, Wan-Bissaka out, all this kind of stuff that's going on at the back. So if you look at what's happening, I won't say up front, but I mean your output. Now, we know Maguire has gotten a few goals. McTominay's come in with a few goals. We know Rashford is way off where he was last season, and maybe a number of other players and stuff like that. And they listed down all the players and stuff that some of the players are doing better than they did. Some are doing worse. Maybe it's because they're getting more game time because of issues or whatever it is. And obviously there's a sprinkling of new players in there as well.
Yeah.
Could you see a situation where you get these guys back in? You get Onana potentially home, and now I know he's going to go after the AFCON. You know, you get Lissandro back at some stage. You get Varane somewhat fit or whatever it is. You get Luke Shaw back, all these kind of things. If those players were in there, I mean, and I know it's hypothetical as well, you're juggling an awful lot of shit at the moment on and off the pitch. You know what I mean? And I know everyone says, well, all teams get injuries. All teams do get injuries. But
but we do have an extensive list of injuries. But my biggest issue isn't the injury list. It's the fuckers that are on the pitch that aren't doing what they've been told to do or what they've been asked to do. You know, no matter who you are, you go out on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon and you're putting on a jersey. You're putting on a United jersey with that fucking crest on it. And you're playing in Old Trafford with 75,000 people, you know, trying to help you get over the fucking line. And you can't dig deep inside and get an extra 5 yards, get a step quicker, get a little bit sharper.
Desire to win. Desire to win. Get a fucking win, lads.
I shouted something last week and a couple of people around me laughed and the guy behind me said, "You're right." You know, he said, like, "You're right." And we're not nasty. You know, we're a nice side to play against. We're not nasty. Somebody said to me, winning, what does winning mean to you? To me, winning is everything. You've heard me say this before. I would kick my fucking granny up the hole if I thought it meant it would get me closer to winning something. Be it a football match, a tennis match, a golf competition, whatever it was. For me, it was about winning, right? I'm looking at guys on a pitch last weekend. There's no desire. There's absolutely no desire. Nobody's going out there putting their bodies on the line. Nobody's going out there running through brick walls. None of that is happening. None of that is happening. And that's the bare minimum. I coached Brody's under-8 team last Saturday morning. And I said to them, lads, they were going out to play a team. So this is how they run things. So there's 6 players and 6 players, right? We have 12 players. And 6 of our lads play 6 of the opposing teams, right? And they play 10 minutes a half. So it's a 20-minute game. And then they swap and they play the other 6. So one of our teams, our other team, had been beaten 10-0 by this particular crew on Saturday morning. And they were coming across then to play against my 6. And I says to them, they've just beat your mates 10-0. And our lads were like, what? I says, yeah, they just beat your mates 10-0. So just battered them like 10-0. I said, they're to hand their asses to them. The lads are looking at me, they're like, Jesus. I said, but you know why, don't you? They're like, no, why? I said, well, if you want to beat someone, what's the bare minimum you have to do? I said, you have to outwork them. If you don't outwork them, you haven't got a chance. So planted a little seed. These are 7 and 8-year-old kids. I want to see them. I want to see the effort and the endeavour and the work rate just to get around and stop and block and hustle and harry and do the right thing at 7 and 8. And we've got guys on 2 to 350 grand a week and they can't make a fucking 5-yard dash to get back goal side. Look at the low last night. Look at the low for the first 2 goals. Lads, stop the lights, will you? Where is he for the first one? He was so bad for the first one, I thought we'd started playing fucking Trent at right back. He was so far out of fucking picture. Like, at least Trent, when he gets to the other end of the pitch, can cross the ball. This other fucker, they pass it back to him. He passes it inside. He gives it right. He gives it less. Fucking hell. At least, and I'm not a fan of Trent, at least Trent can do it one way. Yeah? The low can't go that way, and he can't go fucking that way. He's useless.
Well, the one thing you'll be guaranteed with Trent as well is, unlike Mount last night, who really should have made the tackle. Shouldn't he really, Mount as well? In that moment, should have made that tackle. Trent will make the boy beside him take the booking.
Knowing that the boy beside him couldn't make the tackle because he'd put himself about so much in the first 40 minutes. Because don't forget, he could have easily walked after 25. Easily.
Yeah, now it's...
I hope to God he starts on Saturday. I hope to God the kid Hannibal starts on Saturday because he's exactly what we need. If we 11 Hannibals there last night, we wouldn't have lost 3-0.
Do you know what I really noticed last night as well, and I caught it towards the tail end? How pissed off Hannibal was when he was hooked. Did you see him going up the steps into the sea?
Why? Because he knew he was fucking trying.
And the other two coming down the steps to go on, looked more pissed off at being brought on.
That they had to come.
Yep. They had to come on. It was crazy, the dynamic of it. Like, it was just, it's mad, you know what I mean? And when you sub a guy, he should be pissed off. He should be furious. That's what you want to see and all,
Yeah, but he also should have reasoning behind that. Not just because I'm being petulant or pissy or moany or, oh, you took me off. Like,
yeah, no, you have that performance.
That kid didn't want to get taken off. Because he wanted to be involved in that last night and he wanted to try and turn that around for that jersey and for that crowd. And that's what we need at Manchester United. Not these other 2 fucking prima donna pricks, Bruno and fucking Rashford. They're like the fucking Chuckle brothers. All they do is piss and fucking moan. Bruno banging the ground. Rashford banging the ground. Get up and bang the fucking cunt beside you. Don't be banging the ground and pissing and moaning. You have 350 bags a week. Get up. And if you need to put your fucking teeth into their mouth, fucking do it.
Well, especially as well, like, I mean, Rashford should be Mr. Man United, shouldn't he, really? Regardless of the 350 grand a week.
Of course
childhood, academy.
15 minutes
So Bobby
from the ground.
Signing his first professional contract. Yep. Everything that's gone on. He should be the guy out there that's going to turn around and go, I'm going to be the guy that all these guys look to, and they have to reach my level. Whereas you said the kids are coming on, and the lads are below their level. So, like, where do you go when that's going to happen? We had a lot of it last year and stuff like that.
He's got absolutely no bollocks. Absolutely none. He'll eventually fuck off somewhere with his tail between his legs and become a bit part player at Real Madrid or PSG or Barcelona or some fucking mercenary shithole like that. And you know what? It'll be good riddance to him when he does. Good fucking riddance to him.
Do you know the other thing I thought about?
You can hand out all the fucking skill dinners you want. When you pull on that jersey, if you're not going to put a shift in, you might as well go back to fucking, kicking a ball around the park or the neighbourhood because you're not worth a fuck to anybody.
And you got to remember, even those kids who he's supporting through those lunch schemes and all that kind of good work he does off the pitch and all, they all look to him as the guy. He's supposed to be the guy. So when they watch him on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Wednesday, he's their guy. He's the hero they hang their hat on. You know what I mean?
They'd be better off tuning into Arsenal TV and watching Saka because that kid can play football and he gives a fuck. And Rashford doesn't give one fuck. Not one.
Corvo reckons he'd fly to Saudi. Yeah.
He'd fucking swim to it.
Scary, isn't it? Do you know, I'd so much more to talk about. The one thing I did want to say is when I looked down through it today as well, you can make a case for shipping out nearly every one of those players, which is scary, isn't it, as well? Like if you said it earlier with the 10 versus the 5 and all and stuff like that, you know?
I think, and I was I looked earlier on at this, because I obviously went through the defenders there, and if we look at the keepers, I think with the squad we have, right, I'd struggle to keep 10 players out of about 30. I'd struggle to keep 10.
And the funny with the 10, half of them probably don't start as well, isn't it? Now, they might start
or under the age of fucking 22.
Yeah. Ted's in. Big up, Ted. I think the major difference between these players playing at these top levels and what's at Sunday League and kids levels, as Dazzler is saying, is that they've been told they were so special.
They're special, all right. They're fucking special, all right.
Since they were kids and played in a protected environment where they don't get hit hard in games and don't get smashed 10-0 by lads from 20 minutes up the road and having to live with the stick. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you one thing, the wave of criticism over the last, say, 6-7 days is huge. You know, if you're Marcus Rashford now, you're taking it in the neck the last 4 or 5 days, big time. Why didn't Ten Hag play the reverse last night?
And is he gonna come? Is he gonna come out now and write a little post? Is he gonna write a little post on Instagram and say, "I'm real sorry we let you down, lads. We tried our best." No, Marcus, you fucking didn't. And if you look in the mirror and you're telling yourself and anyone else that you tried your best, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Corvo, I sympathise with Reading if that's the case. But you know, they might look at the money over the situation, to be honest, by the looks of things, I would say, because they're obviously in dire need of the cash injection.
They're in dire need of the cash.
You know what? It's so much to talk to you about tonight, and we had to go through this. I was going to get your picks for the player of the month and the manager of the month and stuff like that. I was going to talk about Saudi Arabia getting the World Cup. I was going to talk about the Chelsea situation, the investigation, and all that kind of stuff.
Read my lips, Niall. Fuck Saudi Arabia. Fuck them.
You're on fire tonight.
Fucking destroying football. Fuck Saudi Arabia. Let's go and play in the desert again.
To answer that,
we use our buckets and spades. No, we won't.
If Eric Ten Hag had Varane, Martinez, Shaw playing every week, we'd be nowhere near the shambles we are. Yeah, I mean, that's like...
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
When you were playing, I mean, last year you were playing a decent brand of football when these guys were in there, weren't you?
I don't think that's true. I think Shaw's a huge miss. Shaw would be one of the players I'd keep.
Absolutely.
You're never, ever, ever going to make Varane robust. At what's he now, 31?
Must be, yeah. Absolutely.
He's never going to become robust at 31. If he hasn't been up until now, which he hasn't, he's not about to turn into a robust player. Again, look towards them fucking camel whippers and try and see if you can get 20 million, 25 million for him, because there's players at that level that can play every single week, that have raw ability, natural talent that you can coach. And maybe they don't have the egos, and maybe they can get on the pitch every week. Our biggest problem at United is we're buying ego fucking central. Somebody thought it was a good idea to sprinkle a fucking Anthony in on top of the Shyhawks we already had. Like, Jesus, wept.
Did you read? That's interesting from Ted there. Did you read the other day that when they went back into the changing room after the derby, that Ten Hag sat them down and they all had to remain silent and listen to the Man City fans celebrating and singing? Did you read that?
No.
Yeah, apparently Ten Hag brought them all into the dressing room, sat them all down, told them all to be quiet and not say a thing until he spoke again. And the city players were in the other dressing room going ballistic, singing champions, all this kind of thing and stuff like that. And all the players were made sit there in silence and listen to the City team. So I'm not too sure. I know where you're coming from, Ted, and that they don't live in that. But, like, you know, there was a lot of emotion and a lot of wave with Sir Bobby passing and all. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of wave, and a lot of expectation. Even if you weren't going to win, I mean, I don't think you might not necessarily think you're going to go out and win that derby game. Boy, Jesus, go out and battle and compete and come off looking at yourself in the mirror like you put in a shift.
Listen, here was a huge opportunity, right? And when I say it was a huge opportunity, we'd obviously just come off the back of the fact that we'd beaten Copenhagen with the penalty save from Onana. Yeah. We've just come off the 2 league wins away at Sheffield United, where we nicked it, and at home against Brentford. So we're on the crest of a wave, right? We've won 2-1, we've won 2-1, we've won 1-0. You're coming into the City game, you've got this big emotion of Sir Bobby. You go out and you fucking run through burning buildings if that's what you have to do. Because that can be the defining moment in your season. That can be the corner turner. What happened? Went over, lay down, and got fucking tickled.
Yeah.
Fucking tickled.
Carvo, I did laugh. I don't know whether you picked up on this the other day. And me and you, I think, preempted this a few months ago. Well, it was a long time ago. It was probably nearly a year ago now at this stage. Where the PIF apparently have granted permission to Newcastle to go and pursue signing players from the Saudi League. And I just laughed at that and I said, I put up a post on Twitter going, so the Da has given the Sun permission to go and sign new players and stuff like that. And I was there thinking, come on, seriously, guys, stop working the world.
Well, we know who the first one's going to be, don't we?
Talking Ruben Neves, aren't they?
That's exactly who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Ruben Neves.
When we seen Ruben Neves going to the Saudi League, we said that's a boomerang. He's coming back straight away, isn't he? Yeah, and probably on a loan. So you know, financial fair play won't even
costing them nothing. The lad's paying 100% of his wages now. Because sure, listen, why wouldn't you?
I tell you, we're living in a crazy world, man. Will we do a few bets just to cheer you up a little bit?
If I have to.
Come on, then. Come on, we'll do a few bets. It's not it'll only get better. Maybe.
Fucking doubt it. I've gone for an accumulator.
Okay.
Villa, Wolves, they're both away from home.
Okay.
And then at home, we've gone Newcastle and Fulham. 35-1. Straight accumulator. No results to score any time. Fucking none of that shit. Just 4 teams.
Carbo, I'm commending you on it. I predicted this 12 months ago, even during the takeover. I said, this is the way this is all going to be structured between yourselves and Chelsea. Chelsea point all the lads off the Saudi as well. Quality. The Premier League standing there with his trousers.
Who's the next player?
After Neves? Oh, good question.
I'm calling it. You ready?
I'm thinking like
Sadio Mane.
Sadio Mane, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking Riyad Mahrez.
No.
Or Hakim Ziyech or someone like that.
Why the fuck would they want Ziyech? Why the fuck would anyone want Ziyech? Would you stop? He wouldn't get a game with us and we're fucking shy. Jesus. Sadio Mane, telling you. Watch this space. Neves and Mane both on loan deals till the end of the season.
Neves was born in Newcastle. We're going to be talking a lot more about this over the next few months, aren't we? Go on, keep on
I hope
going there
not.
if you've more bets.
I did
Benzema,
2, but I can't find the other one.
no problem at all. I've 3 here anyway. So Mikel Antonio, good lord. Yeah. Right, so I'll give you mine then. I've got 3. We'll start off 3 draws I have. The 3 draws I went for pays 46 to 1. It's
3 draws.
Yeah,
Was it the
Fulham
3 we called out?
Not far off it. Fulham Man United.
Yeah, Everton.
Now Brentford West Ham.
Right.
And Everton Brighton is the third one.
Yeah.
So that's 46 to 1 on that.
It's not bad in fairness, is it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. And then I did a handicap bet as well. I did Liverpool -1, Man City -2, Aston Villa -1, and Tottenham -1. That pays about 52.
I was going to say that pays big bucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, about 52 to 1 on that one. It's not too
bad.
And then I did my goal scorer one. And my goal scorer one, I went for. It's no point giving you the teams because you'll know them anyway. So,
go on, sure. Give us a little bit. Go on, give us the teams.
Man City.
Holland.
Yeah. Wolves.
Chan.
Yeah. Huang. Newcastle. Guy who played last night came on and was dying to get a goal, but didn't get one.
Callum Wilson.
Yes. Looked really on for it, didn't he? Aston Villa.
Ollie Watkins.
And Liverpool.
Mo.
That's it, yeah. And that pays out about 52 to 1 for that one. Not too bad. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that. So that's what I have here. That's what I did this week. They're the 3 bets that I have. Right, let's see where I am. We round out with some comments here. Just drop that one there. That's for you there now. Isn't Newcastle new kit supplier for next season going to be Adidas? Not too
Don't know.
sure. Not too sure.
Are they only doing a year with Castor?
Not too sure. Not too sure. The chances are you'll find some new Saudi sports brand who's going to pump in about 400 million in jersey sponsorship or something like that.
Al Kamal.
Yeah. Her game has a 2-2 all over it. Yeah, you reckon? Buzzing about that, mate. I hate the story. They're terrible. Yeah. I would rather have Adidas as Liverpool, but sponsor instead of Nike. Adidas are making the better kits. Yeah, our kits are kind of a little bit lazy. Some of them are all right. Yeah, I did like the cream polo was lovely.
Listen, everybody needs to be wearing the same kind of gear. If you really want some good gear in your life, you want that good Under Armour gear. You know I'm a bit of Under Armour advocate, Niall. Jesus.
Yeah.
Some of the Under Armour kits are very tasty indeed. There's just not enough of them floating around yet.
Absolutely. Stevens in Diaz. Yeah, absolutely. No,
Has he found the outfit yet?
Haven't heard any update on it at all. Still hoping that it comes through, but it's not good when it's dragging on that long, is it?
Yeah. Apparently they'd send sniffer dogs into the forest.
Yeah.
Now, listen, don't get me wrong. Like, I have a lot of respect for those sniffer dogs, but I don't know if we'd be sending them into the bleeding Colombian forest. Like, what are you gonna meet in there? Fucking hell.
One of those cocaine bears or something like that.
So we were looking for Mr. Diaz. Now we're looking for Mr. Diaz and 3 sniffer dogs that have gone missing.
Wilson, I love that man. He sacrificed his front teeth for us. I'm sure he got handsomely compensated for it, in fairness. Do you think Diaz will play? No chance. No chance.
I'll whip him out of fancy football, will he?
How could you? How could you? Henry's in. How are you? Hi, Niall and Darren. Henry's back in. Good stuff. Big up.
Come on, Henry.
Absolutely. Henry, I was talking to Darren there. I watched your show with Morris earlier. It was very good. Yeah. Have an anytime goal scorer bet here. Does Dazzler want the games to guess? Absolutely. Pop them in there, Ted.
Put them
as
all in
always.
together. No, put them
Yeah.
all in together, Ted.
But I prefer Nike's clothes over Adidas. I don't like Adidas clothing. Our kits are the same every year, pretty much it. I have Under Armour, Monterex, Monterain, Nike. Right, Dave's in. Don't disagree about the Varane bit, but the point is a back line of Onana, Araman, Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, and Shaw would be a completely different foundation to go back to Maguire and Lindelof. Yeah.
Yeah, but you still got fucking Casemiro in front of them. You still got Bruno who couldn't hit fucking snow off a rope. You still got that other lazy bastard on the left-hand side who was fucking too busy, sending letters to Parliament. Fucking smash someone, will you? You lazy little swine.
Can't be that, Jack. Did you read that? Where did you read that, Jack? That can't be the case. We had an LFC red Shankly shirt in today. No, red standard chartered one. Oh, nice. Like that. Ted, United versus Fulham, Brentford versus West Ham, Forest versus Villa, City versus Bournemouth, Luton versus Liverpool, 132-1. Okay.
United, Fulham, Brentford, West Ham. Jesus Christ, Ted, this is fucking right. United, Fulham. He's had to go Hoyland here. He's had to go Hoyland. West Ham and Brentford, I reckon he's gone Jared Bowen. Forest Villa, I reckon he's gone the boy Diaby. City and Bournemouth, I reckon he's gone Julian Alvarez. And then in the Liverpool game, I reckon he's gone Carlton Morris.
Bournemouth, has he put in Dom Solanke or something like that? Yeah, to rally up that price. That's a big price
fishy there. So big I'm going Hoyland, I'm going Bowen, I'm going Diaby, I'm going Alvarez, and I'm going Carlton Morris. Go on, Ted. Put me out of my misery.
Bobby Decora Reid or something for Fulham or something like that. Or Forest versus Villa. Who's he going for?
Come on, Ted. Put the names up, will you?
Gibbs White, maybe, is it? He has to gone for some of these. There's
definitely some obscure ones. If I've got all five, by the way, I'm retiring. If I get all five.
You only got 2 out of 5.
Right, put the names up, will you, Ted? Come on, man. We're getting paid by the hour here.
Man United, Whoopi Gilbert, the wrestling. Henrietta tomorrow 8 p.m. Colin show with Jamie.
I got 2 out of 5.
All of the South American governments are corrupt. Listen, bring back fucking mucky bitches. Fabrizio Romano said it before. Didn't see it on Twitter. Check. Yeah, I ain't joking. Yeah, I'll check that out. So I'd be shocked if it's at 205.
What have you got?
He went with Bruno and Buemo. Diaby,
Alvarez, and Nunes.
Yes.
I was going to go Nunes, actually, and then I went Carlton Morris, because I have Nunes in me fancy. Right, and Buemo, Bruno.
That's a big price.
It seems a huge price.
That seems a huge price for those.
Bruno, Buemo, Diaby, Alvarez, and Nunes.
Because Bruno's still on the pens, isn't he? He still takes the penalties.
He still takes the penalties, yeah.
That's a huge price for those 5, I think. Fair play. I like that. Yeah, Alvarez is suspended. Oh,
that's that done, isn't it? Julian Alvarez, is he? No. Is he talking about Edison Alvarez? That's the West Ham boy, Stephen, isn't it? He might be talking about his own.
Yeah.
Alvarez.
Edison. Alvarez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony
Niall.
Gordon for Carvel.
Niall.
Yeah.
Is sorry, I didn't know I moved that close.
No problem.
I'm an Anthony Gordon fan, don't you?
Yeah, Edson Alvarez. Yeah,
Edson Alvarez. I'm an Anthony Gordon fan, and I took an awful lot of stick for being an Anthony Gordon fan, didn't I? Know?
You did.
I was right again, though, wasn't he? Kid's a baller.
He is.
Kid's a baller. Bruno's 3-1 to score any time in Fulham. Jesus Christ, we are shite.
That does tell you, doesn't it?
We are dog shit, man.
Yeah, I think Darwin will probably start against Luton. Bit of chaos, maybe.
I hope so.
Alvarez even money. Nunes 21-20. Nice. That Diaby at 9-4 is nice. Well, listen, just do a Bruno Diaby double. That's what I agree, bro. He is. Absolutely, yeah. Right, folks, that's it. Another Thursday tier talk. These are getting long now. We're nearly hitting 2 hours here on this one.
We're on the cusp of 2 hours. Like I'm
Just
like,
on the cusp.
hold on here.
We're
We need
15
to.
seconds away.
Yeah,
So-
we need to get the old pizza cutter out for this, man.
Absolutely. John will discard a winner on Sunday. Yeah, hopefully does. Yeah, until next time, folks, don't forget, I will be back with a preview for the Luton game. Should be fairly interesting, to say the least. Until next time, folks, make sure you're subscribing, hitting that bell notification button, liking on the video. Of course, drop any extra comments. And if you're watching on the replay as well, make sure you hit it up as well. We really appreciate all you guys in the chat and girls. Hope you're enjoying the show. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Cheers. Cheers, pal.
Thanks, brother.